And a warm welcome for wherever you may be listening to Sparky Anderson Field, where we have a matchup starting off the Week 2 action of the CCL. We have the Conejo Oaks facing off against the MLB Academy Barons. And this is an Oaks team that is just coming off a Sunday victory, as well as the Barons, the Barons are coming off a loss to the Foresters. But we're entering Week 2 of the action, and the Conejo Oaks are getting us started. I'm Judo Kanyas. Alongside me is Sammy Fawn. How are we doing, Sammy?
Feeling good about today. This is a very exciting matchup between the Conejo Oaks and the MLB Academy Barons. The Barons funded by the MLB, based in Compton at MLB Youth Academy, the organization founded in 2006. And this is an exciting matchup. The Barons, a team with a lot of history, they are funded by the MLB, and they are managed by Kenny Landreau, who, if you haven't guessed it already, it was on the receiving end of the final out of the 1981 World Series between the Yankees and the Dodgers. The Dodgers won that series in 6 games, but yeah, this is a very exciting game today. The Oaks, as you mentioned, they re-entered the win column this past Sunday. It was a 10-4 win versus the San Diego Bombers. We saw Devin Wilkes hit the long ball, a home run over the right field fence. He is not in the starting lineup today, but this will be an exciting matchup as the Oaks host the Barons.
Certainly, it's going to be a fun summer. We're ahead here on Week 2 as we're about a few minutes off from first pitch. And as we get this game started, like you mentioned, Devin Wilkes with a big-time home run. That was the first home run for the Conejo Oaks. But on the mound today for the Conejo Oaks, that is going to be Charlie Decker on the mound to get us things started here for the Conejo Oaks. And as we get the first pitch just ready under to go, Charlie Decker from Puget Sound. He is a junior. Pitched 66 innings the last time we saw him in 2025 for Puget Sound with a 4.77 ERA and a 3-5 record. Gets the first thing started with a strike right down the middle. And up to bat for the Barons is Chip Mertz. And then following him is Antonio Lujan. And then following him is Trevor Schmidt, Alondro Torres, Jacob Klenovitsky, Gavin Taylor, DJ Akiyama, Colin Taylor. And to finish things off for this lineup for the MLB Barons is Hunter Blackstorm coming in at the 9-hole. Already down 0-2 in the count. That's grounded to second base. Hewitt picks and gets it in time for the first out. So 3 pitches, 1 out to start this game here for the Oaks. Last time that we saw the Oaks, it was quite the first inning. They scored 8 runs themselves against the San Diego Bombers that we saw on Sunday. Like Sammy mentioned, they came away with a 10-4 victory, but it was quite the start. Now up to the plate is Antonio Lujan. They're going to call it a strike. So down and low, but they're going to call a strike. Antonio Lujan has already appeared in 2 games for the Academy Barons, batting a 222 average with 2 runs, 2 hits, and a home run, along with 3 RBIs. Faced a swing and a miss for strike number 2. The Barons, like we mentioned, coming off a win, or a loss, 21-7 to the Foresters, who the Conejo Oaks saw on Saturday. That's low for ball 1.
Yeah, it was a similar loss that the Oaks experienced against the Foresters this past Saturday. That was a 14-5 loss.
Yeah, a very similar kind of outing that the Oaks saw in the first inning against the Bombers was a similar 5th inning that they saw against the Foresters, giving up 7 runs. Outside for ball 2. The count is now even.
Lujan, an incoming sophomore at Azusa Pacific University. He did play 2 seasons of varsity baseball at Cypress High School under head coach John Weber.
That's strike number 3. So Decker gets his first strikeout, and the Oaks are already down 2.
Well, certainly a good first couple of at-bats that Charlie Decker has been able to pitch to. The 3-pitch ground out, followed by a strikeout.
Now it's Trevor Schmidt making his summer debut for the MLB Barons. First time he's been at the plate. Takes ball outside. Missed the 2025 season with an injury. Last full season that he played was sophomore year at Fullerton, where he hit for 273 and 3 hits. Takes a strike down the middle. Counts even at 1. Here on a beautiful sunny afternoon in Thousand Oaks. Takes ball outside. About 76 degrees, probably some of the best weather we've seen thus far this summer.
Yeah, we're expecting it to be pretty warm this week. I saw last night it was projected to reach the 80s. Changes a little bit as time goes by and we get closer to the times, but certainly some great weather that we're expecting. Although, with that being said, it does always get pretty cold up here in the broadcast booth here at Sparky Anderson Field, or even if you've ever sat in the bleachers, you know, you're under shade for a while. It can get pretty breezy.
As we've now been accustomed to. The count is full at, there's 2-2. Swing and a miss. So 2 straight strikes and 2 straight Ks for Charlie Decker as 3 up, 3 down. We head to the bottom of the first, 0-0. And it's Isaac Veal to get us started here, making his first leadoff start for the Oaks this summer. Veal coming into this game, playing already 2 games this summer with 5 at-bats and 2 strikeouts. Looking to get some hits today. And then on the mound for the Barons, Isaac Fernandez from Downey, California. Last time we saw him was in high school at Downey High. First pitch, upstairs for ball 1.
Isaac Fernandez did play for the San Diego Sunrays last summer as part of the CCL. He made 4 appearances on the mound, struck out 3 batters, allowed 8 hits, put up a 20.25 ERA.
Isaac Veal taken outside for ball 2. Veal in his season, this past season at Westmont, went 197, had 12 hits and 15 runs, as well as 10 stolen bases. Few guys on this team that can get things started. That ball way over the catcher's head. Taylor for ball 3. So 3 straight balls here from Fernandez to get things started off for the Oaks. We'll see Danielwitz next, who's been kind of the leadoff guy for the Oaks, so he's now filling in at the 2-hole. Jacob Galloway getting his second start at the catcher position. Then Brady Hewitt filling in once again, but this time at second base. Ooh. Veal has to duck for that one, but that is ball 4, and he's going to take his walk to first base. So a 4-pitch walk for Veal to get things started for the Oaks.
Well, we talk about pitch discipline at the plate and, understanding to take your time with the pitcher, but on the ball is when you have to dodge away from the ball, it can be easier to take the pitches.
To do his best. Keanu Reeves Matrix. Here's now Lucas Daniewicz out for the Oaks. Takes a strike on the outside. And to finish off this lineup, Zach Moore filling in for the DH role. We've seen Devin Wilkes kind of be that regular guy at the DH. It's Zach Moore today. And then at the 6, 7, 8, and 9, Tyler Hawley and Nate Johnson. Hits that into center field. Backstorm, it's playable, and that's the first out right there for the Oaks. And then to finish things off on this lineup, Jake Schwartz and Ethan Gonzalez at the 9-hole. Coming up now is Jacob Galloway. Like we mentioned, making his second start here for the Oaks. It's kind of been him and Anthony Thomas manning down the catcher position, so Galloway gets the first start of the week with a runner on first and 1 out. Here's the first pitch from Fernandez. Off goes Veal. Ball's over, and he's going to get there in time. He's going to slide in safely. And already a stolen base for Veal, his first of the season. Like I mentioned, he had 10 stolen bases last year at Westmont College. So he is no stranger to stealing those 90 feet of dirt. The 1-0. Takes a strike outside. Galloway, last time we saw him, went 1 for 3 with a double and a run. He appeared in the loss versus the Foresters on Saturday.
It's the second time we've seen him start a game.
Here comes the 1-1. Takes outside ball. Galloway was ranked the 7th catcher in California back in high school. He's done it at USC, and now he's doing it with the Aggies in Texas. He's repping some Texas A&M gear on his right ankle and right bicep. Here's the 3-1 with 1 out, runner on second. Veal likes to go. We'll see what he does here. Galloway fouls that off to the left. Looking at the standings right now, Santa Barbara Foresters are standing at 3-0. The Arroyo Seco Saints 2-1. Conejo Oaks 2-1, so tied for second place right now. The San Diego Bombers sitting at 101. San Diego Waves sitting at 101, and then the Academy Barons sitting at 1-2 to start the season. Their 1 win coming against the San Diego Bombers on Sunday. Here's the full count. Hits that into right field. That's going to drop for a base hit. Veal's going to take himself home. Those out of time, so a single RBI. Or an RBI single right there for Galloway to get the Oaks on board first.
Yeah, really nice start for the Conejo Oaks, and you saw Isaac Veal as Galloway put up a really nice at-bat, but, when the count got to 3-2, you saw Veal really dancing at second base to try to just mess with Fernandez. Veal always, wants the other team to be uncertain whether a guy like him will steal or not, and he holds his place at second until Galloway gets the hit, and with Veal's speed, it's an easy run.
Hewitt chops that foul. Brady Hewitt up. Went 0 for 4 on Sunday. He's filling in at second base today. He's been the regular shortstop for the Oaks thus far. in the 3 starts that we've seen him. But in his 4th start this summer, he's going to be at second base. Pops that one shallow right field. Klinowski's going to get over there for the out, and that's going to be the second one down for the Oaks.
Yeah, on a fly ball like that, whenever there's that much doubt from the infielder going back, it usually tends to be the outfielder's ball because it's just hit out there, and you saw Klinowski come in and sort of guide himself with the win. And Barron's able to put away the second out.
So now it's Zach Mora from Westmont College as well. He's first time as the DH this summer. Off goes Galloway, but it's fouled off to the left, so Galloway will walk back to first base.
Sort of not too usually seen, the catcher stealing second base.
There's been a few guys, maybe there's a competition in the dugout of who can steal the most bases. Right now that would be Jonathan Smith with 3 stolen bases, but
if only we had the whole steal a base, steal a taco deal.
0-1. Fouled off to the right. Mora now down in the count, 0-2. So Mora also making his starting debut here for the Oaks. Spent time last year at Westmont College, batting .270 with 24 hits and 14 runs, as well as 5 RBIs. Here's the payoff from Fernandez. Outside for ball 1. And like we talked about, it was a strange, long first inning that the Oaks saw on Sunday versus the Bombers. 8 runs in that first inning. There were 4 Oaks hit by pitches. Here comes the 1-2 from Fernandez. That's going to hit Moore. So right on cue, first hit batter for the Oaks, and Moore is going to take his 90-foot walk to first base.
Yeah, we saw a lot of hit by pitches in that game on Sunday, and in the first inning alone, there were 4 hit by pitches, 3 in a row. And I was just going to say, the Bombers starter from Sunday, Max Miller, got through the entire order in the first inning, recorded 1 out, and then was pulled.
Yeah.
I mean, it just goes to show you how much these Oaks can attack so early.
They scored 8 runs with only 2 hits in that inning. It was quite the inning. I think the first inning lasted about an hour. The rest of that game lasted an hour and a half.
Yeah, we were just talking about it after the game, It was pointed out, I think, by the Oaks trainer, Yoshi Shiratori.
Could have gone to the DMV and back and still caught the last part of that first inning.
My last DMV trip was actually very quick.
The 1-0 from Fernandez. Holly, a swing and a miss. They're going to try to pick him off. No, don't get it there in time. So Galloway really testing the waters early. We saw him attempt to steal a base on a foul ball by Mora. Right there, a better throw almost could have picked him off. So it's 1-1, runners on first and second. Looks like Dawson has entered the game as a pinch runner for the Oaks at first base. Mora off back into the dugout. Holly takes strike 2.
That's a nice off-speed pitch there by Isaac Fernandez. You saw that ball kind of slide in on the inside towards Holly, and then it dropped closer right onto the inside part of the plate.
To the 1-2. Here comes the payoff. Holly chops that to third, throws in time, and that's going to be the 3rd out for the Oaks. So they get out of the first inning with a run, but nothing more as we head to the top of the second. And we head to the second inning as the Oaks hold a 1-0 lead. The Oaks today wearing back to their baby blues that they wore on Saturday, and the Barons are in full gray. I do really love these baby blues, I have to say.
Yeah, there's just something, and they're matching with the umpires too.
They are. That's fouled off to the right by Torres. Torres in 2 games this season so far versus the Santa Barbara Foresters and the San Diego Bombers. 2 hits, 1 RBI, batting .400. Decker back for his second inning, takes outside for ball 1. Following up Torres is Jacob Klinowski and Gavin Taylor. The next 2 batters we'll see for the Barons. Torres takes low, ball 2. In 2024, the Barons finished 13-23. They saw the Oaks 7 times, and that ball is hit on to left field. That's going to drop for a base hit. So Torres gets things started for the Barons start in this inning as it winds up a single.
Well, the Barons with their first hit of the day, a nice clean line drive hit by Torres. It wasn't hit all that hard, but well enough to get plenty through the infield and hit it where the Oaks were not, and Barons have their first hit and base runner.
Now it's Jacob Klinowski, 4-year player at Claremont McKenna College. Swing and a miss. The 0-1. That's hit on into right field, and it's going to be a play made right there, and they're going to get the throw in time for a double. So just like that, 2 down already for the Barons. That was a great play right there by Hewitt to recognize that Torres was kind of leaning off the base and able to get the out right there back to Johnson.
Yeah, nice play by Hewitt. He had to retreat a little bit there, and, you know, the ball was hit well enough that just took Torres off the base too many steps. He was about halfway down the line, and by the time Hewitt caught it, you know, Torres was pretty much a dead duck, and it was a low throw, but it was a good scoop at first base by Nate Johnson.
Yeah, a few double plays we've already seen from the Oaks defense this season. For a team that has not awfully played together for a long time, the chemistry is certainly there, especially on the defensive side of things. Taylor takes strike. Gavin Taylor committed to play at UNLV next season after spending a season at Los Angeles Valley College. That's low for ball 2.
Gavin Taylor and Colin Taylor, a set of brothers on the Barons.
Gavin Taylor with 6 at-bats. Played in 2 games thus far this season. He's played the Foresters and the Bombers. Takes low for ball 3. Taylor this past season had 34 runs, 44 hits, 34 RBIs. He was All-Western State first team. Here's the 3-1. He chops that to third. Holly he's gonna be called safe. So Holly just not getting the throw there in time, and a good piece of running right there by Taylor.
Yeah, a little tough to tell in real time, but a bang-bang play in terms of the timing, but also Holly, you know, he did find himself in a spot where he had to rush the throw a tad, and it was like very subtle to watch Nate Johnson's foot at first base, but may have just slid off for about a hair of a second.
And Nate Johnson has seen both corners. He's played first and third base this summer. Here's the first pitch outside. Oh, strike 1.
And they do score that an error on the throw by Tyler Holly.
Looked like the umpire was waving it was outside. Here's the 0-1. That's swung on, drops into right field. That's going to be a base hit for Akiyama. So the Barons bats gain active here at the top of the second inning as we head towards the bottom of this order.
Yeah, the Barons are chipping away here, and especially, it's impressive after that double play that was hit into by Klinowski, but the Barons, they're down but not out. They're only chasing one run, and now they're potentially a single away from tying this game and perhaps an extra base hit away from taking the lead.
And so now it's the brother Colin Taylor up to bat, the third baseman for the Barons. 2 outs, runners on first and second. Takes outside. And Akiyama was really testing Galloway right there. He almost wanted him to throw that ball to first for a pickoff, but he's got almost like a receiver stance at first base.
Yeah, Galloway just a little, I've got my eye on you. Charge up and stare.
Swung on and miss for strike 2. And this was something that the pitchers for the Oaks did really well on Sunday versus the Bombers, is leaving guys stranded. We saw the likes of Tate Foxen, Reagan Gale, and Cade Berry do a really good job of keeping guys from scoring. Here comes the payoff. It's fouled off to the right. I have to say, it's one of the more interesting stands that Akiyama is doing. I mean, he truly looks like he's playing football and not baseball. I mean, looks like he's going to break out his stance and run a route.
Fortunately for him, there's no false starts in baseball.
Here's the 0-2. That's in the dirt. Good job by Galloway to block that. Well, I will say, I peeped earlier, very early into the warm-ups for the Conejo Oaks, starting at about 12 o'clock. They had legendary coach Mike Shosha out here teaching the catchers how to kind of stay in front and frame pitches. So good job by Galloway right there to not let the ball get behind him. And runners off they go. Galloway not able to control that ball as it gets behind him. Runners advance, but that keeps Taylor at home. I mean, Taylor at third. That is Gavin Taylor, I should say. Colin Taylor is at the plate right now.
Yeah, pretty big play by the Barons to get runners into scoring position, and even with 2 outs, it puts a lot more pressure on the Oaks here, and Charlie Decker just looking to put away Colin Taylor here. A walk would load the bases, and after that, he would pretty much have one more chance to get out of the inning without giving up a run.
Here's the 2-2, the payoff. That's swung on. It's a high foul ball. Johnson's trying to get to it. He does in a diving fashion, and that'll get us out of the inning.
What a great play by Nate Johnson. He saw that ball the whole way, and a great sliding grab.
And so we head to the bottom of the second inning as the Oaks leave 2 guys stranded. 1-0 Oaks. And it's Nate Johnson to get things started off here for the Conejo Oaks at the bottom of the second inning, just coming off a spectacular diving catch to get the third out of the top of the second inning for the Oaks. So now it's his turn to bat.
I always like to think that that's deserved. You make a great catch and you get the first step out of an inning.
Takes outside for ball one. Well, Nate Johnson, he can kind of do it all when it comes to defensive side. He's played third base a few times. He's played first base. He's filled in a DH role, but today he's at first. 1-0. Takes for ball number two.
The guy on deck is also someone we've seen at first base, Jake Schwartz.
Jake Schwartz, and then Ethan Gonzalez to round out this lineup for the Oaks today. The 2-0. Johnson takes a strike on the outside corner. Johnson still waiting for his brother to come in, Nolan Johnson from University of Miami. The 2-1. Outside for ball three.
Come into the game from the bench, not all the way from Miami, to be clear.
Johnson is 2 for 4 as last time. Takes ball 4 and he'll trot over to first base. Coming up is Jake Schwartz.
Well, we saw the leadoff walk from Isaac Veal in the first inning, and that did end up being the run-costing play for the MLB Academy Barons, because Fernandez allowed the walk. And especially when you walk a fast guy, too, it's a lot easier for him to get those jumps, and you saw him steal second and get into scoring position. Those little things make a difference in baseball.
Schwartz takes a strike. Yeah, you're correct. I mean, Isaac Veal, we've seen it the past few games with even Jonathan Smith setting himself up when putting him out on second or third base. It was Jacob Galloway who brought him in for the first run of this game. Check at first. They're going to call it safe.
That was extremely close.
Yeah, that was extremely close by Johnson. I mean, it helps that Nate Johnson right there is 6'5". He was able to have that long wingspan to get back to first base, but certainly a close call. The 0-1 for Schwartz. Takes a strike on that corner.
Yeah, and thinking about that pickoff throw from a non-timely standpoint, Trevor Schmidt, it seemed like he had to, it was very subtle, but he just a hair kind of had to pick up his glove a little bit and move to his right, which may have just cost him a hair of a second.
Another attempt. This one a little bit more of a delay, not as close, so Johnson gets back safely. Schwartz was 1 for 3 last time we saw him versus the San Diego Bombers. Had a run and that's fouled off to the right by Schwartz. Had a run, a walk, and was one of the victims of the hit-by-pitch disease that seemed to be going around, or whatever you want to call it. So now down in the count 0-2 here. 0 outs, runners on first. Runner on first. Schwartz takes outside for ball 1.
Well, the Oaks are not the only team here at Sparky Anderson who have seen a lot of hit by pitches. In fact, at one point early on in the season, the Cal Lutheran Kingsmen actually led the nation in hit by pitches.
So maybe it's just the ballpark then.
Could be.
The 1-2. Schwartz check swings, but outside for ball 2. So now fighting himself back into this count, was down 0-2 and now even at 2. Here comes the payoff. Off goes Johnson. That's a chopper past the second baseman. Schwartz going to get in. Johnson going to go for third. So a single right there from Schwartz going to advance Johnson all the way to third base, and a great piece of hitting right there.
Yeah, that was a perfectly executed hit-and-run play by the Conejo Oaks. You see Johnson get a good jump, looking to steal second, and then Schwartz chopped it right through the right side. And that's, Schwartz was we saw that foul ball from him before with a full count. Not only was he staying alive, he was also keeping Johnson alive on the base paths, and he was able to get it through into right field and move Johnson to third, and now the Oaks have a chance to get some insurance here.
So runners at the corner. It's Gonzalez now to hit for the Oaks at the bottom of the order. Gonzalez takes a strike inside. Gonzalez versus the Foresters on Saturday was 1 for 3 with a single and a strikeout. Check at first base. Schwartz gets there in time. So the runner's putting pressure on Fernandez early, making him think twice before he throws that pitch. I think he has still Isaac Veal in his mind of stealing that first base. Johnson tempts him. The 0-1. Gonzalez takes outside for ball one.
Certainly not to say that Fernandez hasn't put any pressures on the base runners either. The looks he gives at first base, knowing you saw that very quick pickoff move where he almost picked off Nate Johnson by now a few pickoff moves ago.
That's a chopper in. That's fair down the left base line. In comes Johnson, and Schwartz going to extend himself to third, and so that's going to be an RBI single. Great piece of hitting down the third base line for Gonzalez. Just a chopper that gets right past Colin Taylor. So the Oaks double their lead, 2-0.
Yeah, just another great piece of hitting by the Conejo Oaks, and a little bit of luck, able to just chop it right past the third baseman, Colin Taylor, and you saw, Johnson go back to the bag to make sure that he did have a chance to score. And he did, and it's now 2-0 Oaks.
And it's back to Isaac Veal with still 0 outs, runners on the corners. Veal takes a ball upstairs for ball one. And so, in this inning, it's been nothing but success at the plate for the Oaks. 2 hits and 1 walk. Here's Veal in the 1-0. Swing and a miss. Strike one. Like you mentioned, the Oaks got things started with an RBI single from Jacob Galloway in the first inning to bring in Isaac Veal. He was the first run of this game, and it was just Ethan Gonzalez bringing in Nate Johnson for the second.
Veal with a chance to bring in a run of his own.
The 1-1. Off goes Gonzalez. And he's going to steal a base without even a try from the catcher. Looks like he tried to kind of secure that ball and just didn't work out for him. He was trying to grasp it, I guess. Did not make the throw at all.
On general principle, it's risky to throw to second when you have a runner at third, because on the throw, that runner can take home.
Certainly. So now 2 runners in scoring position. Here's Veal in the 1-2. Takes it inside for a strike, and so that's the first strikeout for Fernandez.
Yeah, great pitching under pressure there by Fernandez, following that stolen base. That ball definitely had a lot of English on it. And it's a big first out for the Barons, and the Barons have the infield up. Anticipating a play at home on a ground ball.
Infield is up. Lucas Danowitz is up for his second time. Flew out his first time. Danowitz hits that high into right field. Klinowski's not going to get there. That's going to be fair. That's going to bring home Schwartz. Danowitz goes to second. This is Gonzalez coming home now for his second run. So a 2 RBI double from Danowitz. And he extends his hitting streak to 3 games. And it just looks like Klinowski kind of lost the ball at the last second. It was playable. He had to sprint all the way to that first baseline and just did not get there in time. Drops for the double.
Yeah, it was a good effort by Klinowski. He may have overran it a tad. You saw it kind of land by his arm. And the Oaks score 2 more runs, now a 4-run cushion.
4-run cushion, still just 1 out for the Oaks. Danowitz at second base. It's back to Galloway. Galloway takes a strike. Galloway already with an RBI today.
Has a chance to knock in a runner, and the runner at second, Danuitz, has great speed.
The 0-1 for Fernandez. Checks at second. And so the Barons and the Oaks will face off 6 times. One less time that they faced off in 2024, where the Oaks won every single matchup. It was a perfect 7-0 versus the Barons last year. But they had a pretty spectacular season on that. They were the champions in the CCL, looking to do it again this year. The 0-1 from Fernandez. Galloway swings on. He's going to race to first, but Fernandez is there to tag him out. And that's the second out there for the Oaks, as Danuitz now moves to third base. So he doesn't get on base, but he does advance a runner and puts another guy 90 feet away from scoring.
And on the defensive side, you saw Schmidt struggle to pick that ball up. He was able to recover in time to get Galloway at first, but if the runner is anyone but a catcher, it's a closer play on general principle.
You see some guys try to be the superstar and tag him out themselves. That was a team play right there from Schmidt. Now with 2 outs, Hewitt takes outside for ball 1. Danuitz now standing at third base. An opportunity for the Oaks to add to what is already a 3-run inning. Up 4-0 here early. Hewitt back at the plate. Swung on. That's high into center field. Blackstrom comes in, gets the out, and that's 3 outs for the Oaks, but not before they get 3 runs as we head to the top of the third, and the Oaks ahead 4-0. And Charlie Decker back for his 3rd inning of action as the Oaks hold a 4-0 lead early here at George Sparky Anderson Field. And to finish off the bottom of the order, it's Hunter Backstrom for the Barons. Record that last out in the bottom of the 2nd inning. Takes a ball down and low.
Well, we saw it again. Fielder makes the last out and is the first guy at the plate.
Blackstrom with 8 at-bats so far this season versus the Seco Saints and the Santa Barbara Foresters. Just 1 hit, 3 strikeouts with a 125 average. Played last year at Los Angeles Valley College. Swung on and miss for strike 1. Blackstrom, a 2-1 count. Had 27 runs and 50 hits last season at Valley College. The 2-1. Swung on into center field. Veal waits under, gets the out. So a 4-pitch out for the Oaks. And that brings us back to the top of the order with Chip Mertz. Grounded out last time. And is at bat. Mertz played at Canyon High School this past season. Had 32 hits. Takes outside for ball 1.
You can probably hear some of that wind picking up. We're starting to, it's pretty windy here at George Sparky Anderson Field. A nice wind in the air with the flag blowing in the outfield.
Fouls that off to the left. Just gets the tip of the bat to hit that ball for a foul. Following Mertz is Antonio Lujan and then Trevor Schmidt, the 2 batters to follow. Here's the 0-1 from Decker. Upstairs for a ball. Trying to find the spot for a good fastball is Decker. The 2-1 for Mertz. Grounds that to first base. Johnson could be able to pick it off and gets the out. Just walk onto the base, and that's the second out for the Oaks, or the Barons.
Another great play by Nate Johnson. You saw him make that sliding catch in foul territory to end the top of the second, and right here makes the sliding play near the first base line. Gets the ball, takes care of that hard part, and the rest is easy. Just a trot to the base for the second out.
So two down already for the Barons as it comes back to Lujan. Struck out his first time. Upstairs for a ball.
Charlie Decker so far. A pair of strikeouts, including Lujan and Schmidt.
The 1-0. Upstairs for ball 2. Yeah, had back-to-back strikeouts to end that first inning against Lujan and Schmidt, like you just mentioned. Looking to end this inning with another strikeout. The 2-0. Paints the corner for a strike. Up to 2-1 is the count. With 2 outs, no runners on base. The 2-1. Low for ball 3.
Kind of a tough pitch to take there for Lujan as that ball dropped down. A good one for sure. And a good pitch by Charlie Decker.
That's just where it comes to the framing by the catcher. And the 3-1. They called a strike, and Lujan flips the bat, but is going to have to recover that one and get back to the plate. We've already seen that a few times with the Oaks, and I feel like they should probably put a sign in the dugout that says, wait till the umpire calls it.
Or I feel like it should be a rule of a penalty in baseball, because I feel like if there was a penalty for tossing your bat before, you know, if you assume it's ball 4, I feel like it would happen less.
Well, it's up to a full count now for Lujan. As strikeout, his 3rd of the day for Decker, and that's 3 outs for the Barons as we head to the bottom of the 3rd. The Oaks still ahead, 4-0. And so Jonah Dawson here at the plate. Gained some early action for the Conejo Oaks. And he's hit by a pitch. So whether you're Zach Mora or you're Jonah Dawson, if you are in that 5-hole, you are going to be hit by a pitch, and Jonah Dawson on the first pitch is going to take a walk to first base.
Second time that Dawson has been hit by a pitch this season. We saw Dawson draw ball 4 in that 8-run first inning. But yeah, and Dawson, he's been certainly a key pickup for both the Conejo Oaks and the Cal Lutheran Kingsmen. Had a fantastic 2025 spring season with the Kingsmen. Batted leadoff for the first few games. And here this summer, batting a solid .500.
And that's inside for a ball. It's back to Tyler Hawley up for the Oaks. Still seeking his first hit of this summer.
We've seen him play a great third base.
He's played a great third base. He's also taken some hit pitches. He was hit by a pitch twice against the Bombers on Sunday. The 1-0 hits that high into center field. Backstrom just going to wait under it, makes the play. Dawson retreats to first base, and he gets the first out of the inning.
That ball kind of emulates the type of thrill ride, you know, anyone would love to be in. That high drop, a towering fly ball, just the fall down.
Seen a few guys in the outfield kind of get lost either by the sun or the wind when it comes to those fly balls out. Dawson goes off to second. His throw is not in time, so Dawson gets a stolen base for the Oaks.
That would be
showing off the wheels.
That would be his first stolen base of this summer. Yeah, Dawson got a great jump. It was a close play at second. Certainly a very quick tag by DJ Akiyama, but it was just not quite in time.
Yeah, good throw by Taylor. It was, if Dawson was any later, he would have been out. So it's Nate Johnson at the plate. The 1-0. That swung on into right field. And that ball is going to hit off the wall. Johnson going to go for 2. Dawson is coming home. So an RBI double for Nate Johnson with a beautiful swing. And the Oaks up 5-0.
Excellent swing by Johnson, and that ball hit about halfway up the wall out there in right field, right by the SCIAC regular season championship banner. One long ball we've seen, as we talked about before, was from Devin Wilkes this past Sunday. And a 5-run cushion for the Oaks.
Nate Johnson just, once again, displaying that power that he has at 6'5", 210. Now it's Schwartz back at the plate. Singled his first time. Takes the ball low. So Schwartz already on a 4-game hit streak with that single in the second inning. Takes outside for ball 2. Good patience here, right, by Schwartz. Not chasing anything. Had 3 long balls last year at Point Luma. That swung on, grounds that to second. Throw's going to get in time for an out, but it's going to advance Johnson to third base. And so Schwartz does his job, advance the runner. But with 2 outs, Ethan Gonzalez steps back to the plate.
Gonzalez knocked home a run his first time up with that chopper down the third base line. Back in the second inning.
With 2 down, here's Gonzalez. Takes ball 1. Gonzalez had 15 RBIs last season at Cal State Los Angeles as a junior. Here comes the 1-0. Takes another ball.
Yeah, the Oaks so far doing a pretty good job of really making Fernandez work and working him deep into the count, helping the Oaks extend their innings and chances of scoring.
Here's the 2-0 from Fernandez. Swung on. High fly ball to right field. Klinowski gets under this one. And that'll end the inning, but not before the Oaks score another one as they head to the top of the fourth with a 5-0 lead. And we're atop the fourth here at George Sparky Anderson Field. Thank you all for joining. I'm Judo Kanyas alongside my guy, Sammy Vaughn. Having a nice start to the week 2 of action here in the CCL. Swing and a miss for strike number 1. Trevor Schmidt struck out his first time. Charlie Decker back into action for the 4th inning. The 0-1. Swung on, gets over the second baseman. Hewitt drops in for a base hit. And so the leadoff man, Schmidt, gets a single.
Nice piece of hitting there by Trevor Schmidt, staying inside the baseball and ripping it over Brady Hewitt's head. Good offensive start for the Barons.
Torres back to the plate as he works on a 3-game hitting streak and a single in the 2nd inning. Takes high and outside for ball. Torres played for the Greek national baseball team. Here's the 1-0. Fouls that one off. Played for the Greek national team from 2020 to 2021, as well as spent a stint in the German Bundesliga for baseball. Gonna be honest with Sammy, I only thought that league was for soccer, but yeah, takes outside for ball.
Yeah, I think baseball is definitely growing really well internationally.
We saw that World Baseball Classic a few years ago do numbers.
Yeah.
Japan on the winning side of that. It was almost a movie ending with Shohei and Trout facing off the final at bat. Torres now up in the count 3-1. I think it's what every baseball fan was asking for. Give us Trout, give us Shohei in the final at bat, and Shohei won the duel. The 3-1 here from Decker. Runner on first. That swung on foul. Gets a good piece of that, but fouls that off to the left. So like we mentioned, the Academy Barons, part of the Compton Youth Academy, founded in 2006 as a nonprofit organization. The 3-2 has popped up high Johnson calls for it, gets the out, keeps Schmidt at first, and I think Johnson, with the way he's been playing defensively, he just wanted another one. This one, a little bit easier.
Yeah, that one definitely a bit more routine, but, you know, it all comes down to communication right there. So fundamental, yet so significant. Him to call that ball off, especially when you have the sun in the sky, you know, you got to know how to get around that.
And he's not even wearing sunglasses today. So with one out, runner on first, it's back to Klinowski. Takes the ball in the dirt. Klinowski faced off against the Foresters and the San Diego Bombers. Had 2 runs, 2 hits, and a walk, as well as a strikeout. Takes another ball. Klinowski, his past season, batted .284 in 37 games played with 11 runs and 29 hits, as well as 11 RBIs. He's up in the count here, 2-0. Decker checks at first, but just a walk back right there for Schmidt. Playing a little bit more safe compared to some of these Oaks base runners. Here's the 2-0. That's swung on into left field, and it's going to drop just outside of the third base line for a foul. You think Wynn had to do anything with that?
I think so, yeah. I mean, you know, you saw that bat. Klinowski just sliced that ball down the left field line, and up here looked like it landed about maybe 4 or 5 inches in foul territory. Yeah. It was certainly a long run for Schwartz. If that landed fair, I mean, that would be certainly a great hit for the Barons, but the Oaks catch a break right there.
Yeah, would have at least got a single for Klinowski. Maybe he would have been bold and gone for 2.
And it would have been a tough play for Schwartz to get it in quickly because he's moving to his right in the opposite direction of the second base bag. So, you know, he's already losing a lot of momentum away from the bag.
So the 2-1 here. Swung on. That's left center field. Going to drop. Veal gets to it, but runners advance. And a double right there from Klinowski as now runners for the Barons at second and third. Good piece of hitting right there to find the gap. Veal had to get to his right. Couldn't get it in time. Let it bounce, and a double right there for Klinowski.
Yeah, nice little gap shot there by Klinowski, and good job by the Oaks outfielders to cut that ball off. But if you notice, nobody was covering second on that play, so it was an easy take of second base for Klinowski, and, you know, perhaps he would have been safe anyway, but when you see that wide opening, you saw him trot there. And now the Barons have 2 runners in scoring position with 1 out.
And now it's Taylor back to the plate, who last time he was up advanced with an error by Hawley. Taylor had 34 RBIs this past season at Los Angeles Valley College. That one's popped high into the air into center field. Veal gonna get under it. Schmidt tags on, gets home, and there's the first run for the Barons. So a sacrifice fly for Gavin Taylor as the Oaks lead is now cut down to 4.
Nice piece of hitting there by Gavin Taylor. He got that ball plenty deep enough for Schmidt to come home and score, and Veal had no chance of throwing it all the way. You saw him charge as if to get enough power, but best place for him to throw was where he threw, third base, to at least keep Klinowski at second.
And now it's Akiyama. Had a single in the second inning with a runner on second base now, 2 outs, 1-0 count. Akiyama takes low for ball 2. Still relatively early here for the Barons, as this is a lead that can dwindle with the swing of a bat. The 2-0 from Decker. Onside for ball 3, so Staying patient is Akiyama. Not chasing anything. He has missed the 2025 season and 2024 season, chunks of those seasons due to season-ending injuries. Just health has been the concern. That's upstairs for ball 4. So a 4-pitch walk for Akiyama, as that now puts 2 guys on base for the Barons, and up comes Colin Taylor, the brother. So you got Colin Taylor coming to the plate, and now you have Jacob Klavinsky at second, DJ Akiyama at first, and a huge opportunity right here with 2 outs for the Barons to really get back in this game.
Yeah, Taylor could make this a 1-run game with 1 swing of the bat.
Taylor fouls that off to the right.
Whatever happens here, I would imagine this might be Charlie Decker's last inning. We have not seen a CCL pitcher go more than 4 innings.
Yeah, we have yet to see that. The other pitcher that lasted pretty long was Castrol. He had 7 strikeouts in 4 innings versus the Foresters. Takes low for a ball. And I'm still, I got to know where Akiyama's learned this stance. I mean, it is fascinating. I don't see this stance quite a bit. It's like he wants you to throw to first base. Here's the pitch. Upstairs for ball 2.
I mean, with Johnson not holding him on, it's like, why wouldn't you take the biggest lead that you can? He's about a third of the way down the line.
Yeah. So the 2-1 for Taylor. Takes a strike. Count now even at 2.
Yeah, the Barons have definitely been making Charlie Decker work a lot this inning, more than he has totally in this game, really, before this inning.
Decker with 3 strikeouts today. The 2-2. In the dirt for ball. Good job by just Galloway to get in front of that, not let the ball get past him. Like I mentioned, he was getting trained up by Mike Scotia earlier today, who was a catcher himself in the MLB for 12 seasons, all with the Dodgers.
Yep, including the 81 season.
Off the runners go. That's going to hit Taylor in the thigh. So he's going to take his walk to first. And the bases are now full of Barons with 2 outs.
And out to the mound comes David Solis. Oaks do have some action in the bullpen.
Solis going to step off the mound, and Decker's going to stay in. A round of fist bumps from the infield. And with bases loaded, all the Oaks need is 1 more out. It's Hunter Backstrom stepping up to the plate for the Barons. Had 21 RBIs last season for Los Angeles Valley College. No RBIs this season thus far. Bases loaded. High and upstairs for ball 1. And like we've noticed, thanks to our statisticians, is the strike zone for this umpire has been, and a swing and a miss for strike number 1. The strike zone thus far from the umpire he's allowed stuff left to right, but not north and south. That swung on foul off to the left. So it's up to 2 strikes now. An opportunity for Decker to get out of this inning with just allowing 1 run. Here comes the payoff. in the dirt for a ball. So
Barons due up with some great speed in the order with Backstrom and Mertz coming up.
So it's the payoff right here from Decker. That swung on. That's going to drop for a base hit. That's going to bring home one runner. And almost picked off a runner at third, but that's going to be an RBI single from Hunter Backstrom as the Barons now cut the deficit to 3.
Yeah, just some great situational hitting there by Hunter Backstrom, realizing that the Barons were down by 4 runs, and all he needs to do really is get a hit to get them one step closer, and that's exactly what he did, a station-to-station RBI single to left with the bases loaded.
And that brought in Jacob Klinowski for the run. So now it's the Oaks just looking at a 5-2 lead. Bases loaded, 2 outs. Here's Decker. Mertz swung on. That's going to get past Hewitt. That brings in Akiyama. There's a slide. In time is the throw for an out.
Well, the Barons got a little greedy there.
So that brought in Akiyama, but Taylor's not going to get to the home play in time. But still, 3 runs for the Barons as we head to the bottom of the 4th. And we welcome you back to George Sparky Anderson Field as the Barons did damage at the top of the 4th inning, getting 3 runs to now bring the Oaks lead just to 2. 5-3 Conejo Oaks as we head into the bottom of the 4th. Isaac Fields to get things started here. Takes high for a ball. Veal struck out his last time in the 2nd inning. Was the first run for the Oaks at the top of the 1st. Had a leadoff walk and then was brought in by Galloway to get things started here. The 1-0. Takes a strike on the outside.
Yeah, also thinking about that last play that ended the top of the 4th inning, you saw the error by Hewitt that led to a run scoring, but the ball came back into his glove quick enough that, Colin Taylor coming home, he was gunned down by Hewitt.
(2-1) for Veal. Yeah, it was certainly a risky play that the Barons just ran. I mean, sometimes it pays off right there. It didn't. Still came away with 3 runs in that 4th inning. The 2-1 for Veal. Chops at that and misses for a strike. Count even at 2. The payoff from Fernandez. Swung and miss from Veal. So a strikeout right there from Fernandez in Veal's second. Seeming that Fernandez likes that matchup as his 2 strikeouts come against Veal. Oaks now with 1 out. Danielwitz back to the plate. Takes outside for ball 1. Had the 2 RBI double in that second inning that increased what was then the lead 5-0, but then dwindled down to 2 here at the bottom of the 4th. The 1-0. Danielwitz swing and a miss. And so, while there are 6 matchups in the season between these 2 teams, 3 of them are coming this week, as they will see as the Oaks and the Barons will face off in just 3 days' time back here at George Sparky Anderson Field. And a strike called. And it's been a interesting strike zone thus far from this umpire, really allowing things from left to right, just not north and south. The 1-2 for Danielwitz. Swung on. High ball to center field, and that's going to be played on by Backstrom for the second out of this inning. Got a good piece of it, just right to the center fielder Backstrom. And so the Oaks will then travel to play the Barons the following day, June 14th. So it gets our weekend series started with 2 games versus the Barons. It's now Jacob Galloway at the plate. Takes a strike inside.
Galloway responsible for the tag of Colin Taylor at the plate on that throw by Brady Hewitt to record the 3rd out and keep it at a 2-run game.
And he really planted himself in front of that home plate, not letting the runner get home. Ball's low. And so the Barons looking to get out of this inning unscathed. The 1-1 for Galloway. Takes outside for ball 2. The Oaks have found a way to score in every inning thus far. One run in the first, 3 in the second, and 1 in the third. But it's been 2 straight outs this inning for the Oaks. Two 2-1 for Galloway. Takes a ball.
Well, something I just may have discovered that's pretty legendary. In order for a run streak to be kept up in each inning in a wood bat league, the ball literally has to knock on wood.
The 3-1. Galloway takes that outside for ball. And that time he was patient. He waited for the umpire, and he's going to take his walk. And so the Oaks with a base runner with 2 outs. Hewitt back to the plate. Is 0 for 2 on the day. Seeing him at second base today. Two outs, runners on first. Here's the first pitch. Hewitt takes outside for ball. He now has an error in that 4th inning, top of the 4th inning, that resulted in Colin Taylor trying to come home. He was gone out by Galloway. That rips that into left field for a base hit. Gets through the gap. Galloway going for third. Hewitt going for second. Galloway now trying to go home. He does. Hewitt trying to go to third. He's going to get there, and that is a RBI triple from Hewitt. Gets out of an 0-6 slump to get a run and gets a triple.
Well, the Oaks have kept the inning run scoring streak up, and yeah, that ball was just deadly placed by Brady Hewitt, and Jacob Galloway scoring all the way from first rather easily when you saw the ball tail away from the outfielders, Backstrom and Torres, and Brady Hewitt standing up going into third. Oftentimes you see a slide on a triple, but no chance to get him.
Rips that back into left field. That's going to drop for a base hit. I apologize. That's Dawson with the single, and that's going to bring in Hewitt. So an RBI single from Jonah Dawson. And the Oaks now back up 7-3 as they increase their lead by 4.
Yeah, well, Dawson's certainly one of the better contact hitters that I've seen at this ballpark, and he has come a hugely long way in continuing to develop that as a player in this past season. You know, with the amount of starts that he got, and we've seen him on, you know, in both the infield and the outfield. We've seen him at second base and left field for the Oaks so far this summer. We'll see if we see him at first base later on in the season.
So it's now Tyler Hawley. Takes a strike. Yeah, for Dawson, he's kind of that do-it-all gadget guy that the Oaks and the Kingsmen have. And right there, he's showing why. I don't think he anticipated to play as early as he has, but he's ready for the moment. And just like that, he has an RBI single. Hawley takes outside for ball. Now Hawley still looking for a hit. Has struggled to start the season. Has found ways onto the base outside of getting hits, whether it's hit by pitches or walks, but you know he wants to get a hit. That swung on, grounds that to short, gets the play to go at second, and that's 3 outs there for the Barons as we head to the top of the 5th. But the Oaks add 2 more to their lead. 7-3 Oaks as we see you next. And so we start the 5th inning with a pitching change for the Oaks. It is now Max Strickland coming in, looking to shake off what was a tough 5th inning he pitched versus Santa Barbara Foresters. Allowed 7 runs and 5 consecutive walks. So short-term memory for Strickland here. That's in for a strike, and that one's got to feel good. That was a struggle for Strickland. He just could not control those pitches, could not find the strike zone versus the Foresters. So an opportunity to outside for a ball.
Yeah, you know, you have a rough day like that, you go on to the next day, you got to have that goldfish mindset. Or I might like to say the Dory mindset.
Yeah, he only allowed 2 hits, but it was just the walks that were issues. That's fouled off for strike 2. Back to the plate for the Barons is Lujan. 2 straight strikeouts to start this game, 0 for 2.
Lujan, the switch-hitting designated hitter, getting his first at-bat from the left side.
So the 1-2. That's swung on to right field. Daniewicz gets under it, makes the out. And it's 1 down for the Barons. Back to the plate is Schmidt, making his debut here in the CCL, or this summer's CCL. Has a single and a strikeout. That's low for ball 1. He was the first run for the Barons in the 4th inning. Got things started. Was brought in by Klinowski. Here's the 1-0, the 0-1. Outside for a ball. And yeah, I mean, as pitchers, especially the position where you just kind of have to have the short-term memory. You can't really hold on to what happened 2 or 3 days, even 1 day ago. You have to just be able to work in the present. The 2-0. And that's outside for a ball. Need to check with the third base ump. The 3-0. Gets it in for a strike. So up to 3-1 is the count for Schmidt. Had 13 home runs his sophomore season at Fullerton. Batted .343. 3-1. Up and outside for ball 4, as Schmidt will take his walk to first base, and that will bring on Alejandro Torres, already with a single today. Torres with 2 hits this summer so far. First the Foresters and the San Diego Bombers. Outside for ball 1. And the Compton Youth Academy, which the Barons are a part of, aims to set the standard for baseball and softball instructions. The 1-0, swung and a miss. 1-1 for Torres. The Youth Academy aims to set the standard for baseball and softball instructions and educate in urban America and enhance the quality of life in surrounding communities. They check Schmidt at first.
Yeah, and one thing they also really set to do is cultivate leadership and excellence and diversity too, right? And inclusion.
The 1-1. Low and away for ball 2. It's great when you can see that there's programs like that, especially in underserved communities of South Los Angeles. Living there myself, I do see definitely a difference from South Los Angeles up here in the Valley. So it's good that those kids are getting an opportunity. Upstairs for ball 3.
And programs like that and communities they are definitely something that this country needs desperately. I'm not going to get into any more than that, but they're appreciated for sure.
Yes. That's upstairs for ball 4. So 2 straight walks right there for Strickland. And that'll put a Barron on first and second as he's getting a quick mound visit from Galloway.
Yeah, Galloway walking out to the mound, just, not, I would think not over reminding him, but just letting him know, like, hey, like, I'm right here, I got you, we're just playing catch, let them hit the ball and we'll take care of the rest.
So runners on first and second, 1 out. Klinowski takes a strike. Klinowski with already a double and a run hit into a double play in the second inning. Takes a ball. So the 1-1 to Klinowski. Check swing. A ball. 2-1 is the count. Runner on first and second. That's inside for a ball 3. So 3 straight balls for Klinowski. Already his runners on first and second, and this is where Strickland got in some trouble last time, falling down in the count. The 3-1. That's inside for ball 4. Klinowski takes his walk to first, and that'll load the bases with Barons. As up comes Gavin Taylor. And with 1 out, Strickland now in a jam.
Gavin Taylor knocked in the first run for the Barons with a sacrifice fly to center field. And to your point, Max Strickland, 3 straight walks. He may be experiencing some deja vu here.
That's outside for ball 1.
And if you're the Barons, with the scouting report that you would think they have on him from recent events and the way this inning has unfolded, patience is a virtue.
1-0. Outside for ball 2. And it certainly is, and the Barons are going to attack when they see a ball come down the strike zone. So it's Taylor. Sacrifice fly. The 2-0. Swing and a miss. Strickland gets him.
Yeah, I think Taylor got a sense there that Strickland did not want to throw another ball there. And he really showed it and gets a piece of that ball, just lands into the glove.
Strickland all the way from Townsville, Australia. That's a swung on to left field. Schwartz going to get there. They tag on. That's going to bring home Schmidt for another run for the Barons as they cut the Oaks lead to 3. So a sacrifice fly for Gavin Taylor, his second of the day.
Another great job of hitting there by Taylor, realizing the situation. You know, his job, get one run home. It's now a 3-run lead, and Barons still have the tying run at the plate, and Akiyama.
And if you're Strickland, it's one batter at a time. Upstairs for a ball. Akiyama with a single and a walk today. Had one of the 3 runs scored in the 4th inning for the Barons, as that was a big inning to kind of bring them back into this ball game. 7-4 Oaks. The 1-0. Swung on, gets past Johnson for a base hit. That's going to bring home Torres. Torres going to get to home. That scores another run for the Barons. And now the lead, just 2 for the Oaks, as an RBI single from Akiyama.
Really nice hitting there from Akiyama. Grounded that ball right through the right side. It was a nice sliding effort there at first base by Nate Johnson. It just went under his glove.
And we've seen him make plenty of plays today. That one just gets away from him, but good job to lay out for it.
Now the Barons have the go-ahead run at the plate in the name of Colin Taylor.
Taylor was hit by a pitch. 0 for 1 on the day. Runners on first and second, 2 outs. That's low for a ball. 2-0. Just fouls that one into the dirt. Two one.
Barons in a good spot here, only chasing a couple runs with 2 runners on.
The 1-1. Takes a strike. So 1-2, an opportunity for Strickland to get out of this inning. Runners on first and second, 2 outs. Here comes the 1-2. That's chopped foul. Off to the left. Count stays at 1-2. The Barons left 2 base runners stranded in the 2nd inning. The 1-2 to Taylor. Runners go. That's into the dirt. That passes through Galloway. Runners advance to 2nd and 3rd.
Fortunately for the Oaks, that ball went fast enough and hit hard enough against the backstop that it sort of just jumped to Galloway rather quickly.
Good reaction to also get there. But it does advance the runners for the Barons. Runners on 2nd and 3rd, 2 outs. Count is even at 2. Strickland with the payoff. They check out first. They're going to call it a ball. So it's up to a full count here for Strickland. 2 outs. 2 runners in scoring position. Here comes the payoff. Swung on foul. Off to the right side. I don't know if they're doing it today, but they were giving away free candy for any kid, junior Conejo Oak fan, that would grab a foul ball and bring it to the front office. But are they still doing it today?
Yeah, just check.
Well, there you go. They're doing it again. So one lucky kid with a Snickers in his hand. The 3-2. Outside for a ball. And Taylor's going to walk to first. And bases are back to being loaded. And with 2 outs, the Barons still very much an opportunity to take this lead. And Strickland going to get a visit from the infield and Coach Solis.
That is Strickland's 4th walk of this inning. Looks like that's going to be it for him.
And so with bases loaded, the Oaks are having a pitch change, and we'll be right back as the Oaks still ahead, 7-5. And it's Daniel Morg up here for the Oaks on the mound. And he's already in a situation himself. Bases loaded, 2 outs. It's Hunter Backstrom up to the plate. Swing and a miss for strike 1.
Yeah, and Strickland still has 3 potential runners to his name. So any runner on base that scores, those runs would belong to Strickland.
And I think for Coach Solis and the rest of the coaching staff, they realized they probably didn't want to allow any more runs and had to be smart with how they managed the pitching situation. So Backstrom already down 0-2. A swing and a miss. And so 3 straight strikes gets the strikeout for Morg. And we head to the bottom of the 5th as the Oaks lead 7-5. And we head back to the bottom of the 5th inning here at George Sparky Anderson Field, and it's a pitching change for the Barons. Henry Sorman now on the mound, the freshman at El Camino College. He has just one appearance thus far this season and 1 inning pitched. He's faced 3 batters. Here's his first pitch. Swing and a miss from Johnson. Johnson back at the plate. Had an RBI double last time he was at the plate.
That scored Jonah Dawson from second base after he had stolen second.
Johnson takes the ball. Count is at 1-1. Henry Sorman was a 4-year varsity starter at Sarah High School. Outside for ball. He pitched, he played shortstop, and he was a center fielder. Named second team All-League sophomore and junior seasons. The 2-1. Johnson fouls that off. Sorman was, his grandfather is famous film director Sidney Pollack. For all you the kind of a 80s, 90s movies that he made. Johnson takes ball low. Count is up to being full. His grandfather produced the movie The Talented Mr. Ripley. I don't know how many of you guys have seen that. It's a great movie with young Matt Damon. Here's the full count. Johnson whacks that into right field, and all they could do is look, and that is gone, and the Oaks with a home run. That is Johnson's first of the season, and their lead is put back to 3.
That was a no-doubter off the bat of Nate Johnson. You saw him admire it, the second Oaks long ball we have seen this season, and that was pretty sweet. Koji very excited to get to grab that bat.
Maybe we'll give him some of that power. That had an exit speed of 101 miles per hour.
And it went 375 feet.
Went over all those championship and tournament banners along the right field fence for the Kingsmen. Now it's Schwartz. Schwartz had a single earlier. He pops that one up into shallow in field, and Akiyama's going to get the out. So 1 down for the Barons. And on that home run, Sorman just kind of let that one hang in the air, and Johnson got in front of it and just whacked it out of here. Upstairs for a ball. It's back to Gonzalez, back to the bottom of the order here for the Oaks. As Gonzalez 1 for 2 on the day with an RBI single. And so that's got to feel good for Johnson. Inside for a strike. And so, yeah, the second home run for the Oaks this season. It's now back-to-back games with a homer. Gonzalez grounds that to first. They're going to toss it, and gets there in time as Sorman to get the second out of the inning. A good play by Schmidt to get under it. And then do a toss over to Sorman.
Yeah, so nice quick toss there. You saw Schmidt, there was a ball that he juggled to get earlier, couldn't afford to do it that time, and he didn't.
So it's back to Veal. Takes a strike. Veal 0 for 2 on the day. Still looking for his first hit of the season. He's appeared in 3 games thus far. Total of 8 at-bats. Here's the 1-1 for Veal. Swing and a miss. So the Oaks ahead 8-5. It's been a good one here on George Sparky Anderson Field. The 1-2. That's outside for a ball. Sorman's father played for Team Sweden in hockey. Here comes the payoff. It's outside for ball 3. It's up to a full count with 2 outs, no runners on. Here comes the payoff. Grounds that to short. Akiyama gets the throw in time. And that's the 3rd out for the Barons. We head to the top of the 6th, but not before a Nate Johnson home run adds 1 more to the Oaks lead, 8-5. And we come back to the top of the 6th inning. Well, it was a quick bottom of the 5th inning, but it was a Nate Johnson home run to put the Oaks lead to 3. And now it's Daniel Morg back for his first real inning of action. He came in the 5th inning, faced 1 batter and 1 strikeout. Was able to alleviate the damage of a bases loaded left by Strickland. That ball is high for ball 2. And Daniel Morg played high school baseball at Thousand Oaks High School, just down the road here from Kowloon. Committed to play at Ventura College. The 2-1. Rips that down the first base line. Johnson retrieves, steps on the bag, and that is an out. Number 1. And Johnson has been all over the place today. That one just chopped right to him for the first out.
Yeah, that glove is pretty magnetic, it looks like. Of course, that one being a little more routine.
Now it's Lou John. 0 for 3 on the day with 2 strikeouts. The 1-0. Swing grounds that to Hewitt. Hewitt going to make the play at first in time. And so 2 up, 2 down. As the Barons now down to their final out. So Daniel Morg has come in here and retired 3 straight batters. Swing and a miss. Chased that one with Schmidt. Schmidt 1 for 2 on the day with a single and a walk. Morg with a beautiful slider right there.
You saw Morg come in top of the 5th inning, get a 3-pitch strikeout right away.
And a swing and a miss. And that's Morg's second strikeout, and that is 3 up, 3 down. So we head to the bottom of the 6th with the Oaks ahead 8-5. And welcome back into George Sparky Anderson Field here as we get the 6th inning started. And thank you for all joining us here on a Tuesday afternoon. Danielitz takes ball outside. And it's been quite the eventful game here for the 4th league game for the Oaks. Danielitz grounds that to third. Taylor gets the time in throw. And that's the first out. Good job right there by Schmidt to stretch out for that one. And so that brings up Jacob Galloway back to the plate for the Oaks. Galloway 1 for 2 today with an RBI single and a walk. And I think one of the stronger positions, I don't know if you agree with me, Sammy, is the catcher position. Both Jacob Galloway and Anthony Thomas have been great at the plate and behind the plate for the Oaks this summer. And it's always a good thing when you got 2. So 1-0 is Galloway takes. 2-0.
Yeah, and they've both seen some good success and production, getting the start in various games. The second time, as I mentioned before, that Galloway has been the starting catcher of the game.
Here comes the 2-0. Galloway swing on hard, drops for a base hit. And just like that, the Oaks got someone on base. And just continues a strong day already with his 2nd single of the day. Gets it to drop right in front of Backstrom. Brings Brady Hewitt to the plate for the Oaks. Hewitt 1 for 3 on the day. Try to pick off Galloway there. He's safe. Gets back just in time. And he's had a few of those today where he's ran the risk of getting picked off, but
yeah, good little base running deke by Galloway to, try to bait Gavin Taylor into throwing it to first.
They do it again. He's safe again.
Oh, looks like a balk is called on Henry Sorman.
And the Barons skipper, Ken Landrix, is coming out to talk to the home plate umpire. Quick little chat. Wondering what the coffee order was for today. No, but that advances Galloway to second. Advances Galloway to second. Hewitt with a 1-0. Takes ball outside. So it's been like I said, an eventful day here at George Sparky Anderson Field. Hewitt chops that. Foul. Just barely to the left of the third base. And the Oaks jumped off to a 5-0 lead in the third inning, but the Barons responded with their own of 3 runs in the fourth inning to make it a 5-3 game. But at the bottom of the fourth, 2 more runs added by Galloway and Hewitt. Dawson with an RBI single to bring in Galloway. And so now it's a count even at 2. Steps off. Barons added 2 more in the 5th inning off walks, or off a sacrifice fly from Gavin Taylor. Brought in Torres and Schmidt. The 2-2 outside for ball. And then it was Nate Johnson with a solo shot down the right field. His first of the season to make the score 8-5. But now it's Hewitt. Full count. Rips that. Foul.
Watch out, Oaks dugout.
Coach Solis had to dip down to not get hit by that. Does have a helmet on, but I don't think that helmet would have done much protection how fast that ball was going. So Hewitt stays alive. Full count. Sorman steps off again. Here comes the payoff. That ball is high and away for ball 4. And so Hewitt will walk high and inside for ball 4. And he will walk to first base.
Well, a pretty good at-bat there by Hewitt, able to really make Sorman work. You know, Sorman, I'm sure, was pretty shocked by that no-doubter from Johnson.
Yeah, in fact, that was Sorman's first batter he faced when Johnson took him yard. So now it's Jonah Dawson. Fouls that off to the right. He came into this game because Zach Mora exited, I presume an injury. He was hit by a pitch in the first inning, and Zach Mora is only at bat. So Dawson has filled in nicely. He was hit by a pitch, but then also got an RBI single. Dawson takes strike. 0-2. So runners on first and second, 1 out. Oaks looking for more. That's going to hit. And they're going to call out Dawson. They're going to say he leaned into the pitch from Sorman. And it would have been his second hit pitch. And now Coach Solis going to have a conversation with the home plate umpire. Now, from my vantage point, it did look like Dawson did lean in just a bit to the pitch.
Yeah.
And it didn't look like it was, the ball was coming. Like he kind of led his left shoulder towards the ball. So
yeah, you saw his shoulder move there, and I think he knew it too, and we felt it up here. Kind of saw that coming from almost a mile away. Umpires are talking about it right now. It's tough in situations like this when you don't have instant replay.
And they're going to call him out. And I think that's the right call right there from the home plate umpire. I think maybe Dawson was thinking with how many guys have been hit by pitches, there was a potential that maybe the umpire would let this one slide. But he is going to be called out. And it's now Tyler Hawley who comes up. 0 for 3 on the day. Runners on first and second. Takes a ball. Fouls that one off to the right. Hawley was the 24th ranked third baseman in California in 2022. Wants to be a physical therapist after his baseball career. I feel like that is with how much these guys play the sport, they understand how all parts of the bodies work, and it makes sense you want to go into something that relates to being an athlete. The 1-1. Hawley takes. 2-1. At Pepperdine in 2024, Hawley had 8 runs, 2 RBIs, 5 hits, batted .114. Fouls that one. Stays alive. Count is even at 2. 2 outs, runners on first and second. Hawley has grounded out twice today, as well as a pop fly to center field. The 2-2. Fouls that one off again, so he stays alive here. And this is someone that's wants a hit. Just getting some new balls for Sorman. And really, when you look at the season thus far for the Oaks, their one loss coming in kind of a game where they could have avoided it. I mean, they were tied 3-3 with the Foresters. They allowed a 7-run fifth inning, but outside of that, the Oaks have been playing good baseball to start the season. Here's the 2-2 for Hawley. And strike 3. And he's caught looking, and that'll be the third out as we head to the top of the 7th. Oaks still ahead, 8-5. And now it's back to Daniel Morg on the mound, who's 2 strikeouts and 4 batters he's faced. Retired 4 straight. Ended last inning with striking out Trevor Schmidt, and now it's Alejandro Torres up for the Barons. He hits that into the gap into left field. That's going to drop. He's going to go for 2. Holds at first. Ball rolls back to Morg off Veal's throw. So a single to open things off here at the 7th inning.
Nice piece of hitting there by Alejandro Torres, right into left center field over the head of Gonzalez. And a little bit of a nerve-wracking ball roll there where the Oaks almost lost it enough for Torres to go to second, but a leadoff single.
And so that's Morg's first hit allowed in 5 batters. So Torres on base. The 1-0. It's upstairs for a ball. Klinowski back to the plate. 1 for 2 on the day with a double. It's outside for a ball. 1 for 2 on the day with a double and a walk. Hit into a double play in the 2nd inning. He's up here in 3-0. Upstairs for ball 4 and a 4-pitch walk as he flings the bat and walks to first. It almost feels like it had a little bit more intent behind that. But with 0 outs, the Barons got runners on first and second. And that brings Gavin Taylor back to the plate.
And this is the most trouble that we have seen Morg face in this game. He retired the first 4 batters he faced, and now, you know, with the single to Torres and the walk to Klinowski.
A swing and a miss from Taylor. He's already has 2 sacrifice flies today. And back-to-back innings. The 0-1. And got him with a slider. And Morg has been working this slider all day. He's been able to get a few batters to chase. But here's the 0-2 for Taylor. Taylor pops that high. Johnson calls for it, gets the out. That's the first out for the Oaks.
Well, good communication there in foul territory with Nate Johnson coming on, and he has been Johnny on the spot, really, catching those balls.
Yeah, almost outpowered Galloway with his yell. Galloway had originally called for the ball, and then Johnson said, "Nah, that one's mine." 1 out. The bunt right here from Akimi. No throw by Hawley. And a successful bunt that's a base hit. And that's going to load the bases for the Barons. So an opportunity here. Down 3 as Colin Taylor now comes to the plate.
Beautiful bunt there by Akiyama to load the bases. That was just perfectly placed, and Hawley simply had no shot there.
And so bases now loaded. Torres on third, Klinowski on second, and Akiyama on first. And with the swing of the bat, the Barons could take the lead. Taylor takes ball. And this almost feels like deja vu with Daniel Morg started his game.
Except this time it's him who inherited the runners.
So 1-0, one out. Ball upstairs for 2-0. He was able to get out of that jam last time, striking out Hunter Backstrom. Got him with a slider for a strike. And just the way that Morg commands that slider, it's It's been somewhat unhittable today. Straight into Morg's hand, and they get the second out. And just like that, with bases loaded, Morg gets out of the jam with nothing. And we head to the bottom of the 7th. The Oaks still ahead, 8-5. And we head to the bottom of the 7th inning as a new pitcher is on the mound for the Barons. That is Kyle Bender out of Azua Pacific University. He's actually making his debut here. His CCL debut of the 2025 summer for the Barons. He's a senior. And a 4.20 ERA last season with 1 appearance. And it's Nate Johnson to get things started off. Had the home run last time he was at bat. Johnson takes upstairs for a ball.
Bender was at University of Washington for a couple of years where he redshirted. Ended up playing first in 2023. And played at Folsom Lake College the following season in 2024.
That ball gets behind Johnson for a ball. So Johnson, like we mentioned, a ball that went 324 feet down past the right fence here at George Sparky Anderson Field. And just off the crack of the bat, you knew that one was gone.
Mm-hmm.
So 3-0 for Johnson. Oh, and that's going to hit him hard in the back, and he's going to walk that one off as he heads to first base. And that, we could hear it up here from the booth. That was did not sound good.
And he's able to walk it off no problem, but I mean, yeah, and especially I've been there when it's like, you know, it's the 4th ball and it just happens to hit you, and it's like, oh, did it have to end like that?
Well, now Johnson at first base and Schwartz up to hit. 1 for 3 on the day. Takes a ball upstairs. Schwartz singled in the second. A ground and a fly out. Takes a strike. 1-1. So last inning, the Oaks did not record a run, but it had been 5 straight innings the Oaks had recorded at least 1 run as they lead here at the bottom of the 7th, 8-5. As we begin week 2 action in the CCL. The 2-1. Schwartz takes ball. 3-1. Schwartz played at Point Luma last year. Batted .315 with 56 hits. Takes outside for ball 4, and he'll trot over to first base. So a hit by pitch and a walk has 2 Oaks on the bases. As there's now a mound visit from AJ Monarez, the pitching coach for the Academy Barons. There's some action in the bullpen. We'll see if Bender's day is over. I'd assume so. He just came in.
Monarez pitched a couple of years at Cal State Bakersfield.
And a quick little meeting is over, and we get back to action as Ethan Gonzalez steps to the plate for the Oaks. 1 for 3 today with an RBI single in the second inning. Brought in Johnson, who is now at second base. Gonzalez goes for the bunt, makes the play at first in time, but advances Schwartz. Oh, and it's a pitch that gets by Taylor, and that's going to bring home Johnson for another run. So Schmidt tried to make the cross diamond throw over to Taylor, but a low throw that gets by Taylor, and that brings Johnson in for another run, and the Oaks now lead 9-5. And now we have a pinch hitter as Devin Wilkes, the guy that hit the first home run of the season for the Oaks against the San Diego Bombers. That one also down the right field. Wilkes' first pitch fouls that off to the left. And in fact, Sammy, you did a post-game interview with him. He's been one of the most consistent players thus far for the Oaks this season.
Yes, sir. I had a chance to talk to him after the game, a great conversation, and he said that the team is still getting to know each other, but that the bond is good and the chemistry is there, and the team is obviously performing well.
Swing and a miss. Tries to hit the low fastball, but here's the 0-2 for Wilkes. Like everything, us here in the broadcast booth, we're working on the chemistry. We're getting it game by game. Same with the statisticians, but it's an 0-2 for Wilkes. That's way outside for a ball. But
also on that sacrifice bunt, it was a good execution by Ethan Gonzalez, and then, I don't know, I'm not sure what happened there on that, what turned out to be an unnecessary throw to third. Led to a run.
It looked at Schmidt had thought that Johnson was trying to bite off more than he could chew, and Wilkes whacks that into shallow left center field. Backstrom going to get there for the out, and that's going to hold Schwartz. At second, actually, I apologize. It's now a pinch runner, Borjas. Henry Borjas now the pinch runner.
Yeah, Wilkes just did not get that ball deep enough to get that run home. And if you're the Barons, that makes that error hurt even more because it would have been one less run on the board.
Yeah, like I said, I think Schmidt had just assumed that Johnson was trying to go home and thought he could maybe potentially get him. But wild throw gets another run for the Oaks. Daniewicz fouls that off. So it's Borjas as the pinch runner at third base. Daniewicz with 3 RBIs this season. He is 1 for 4 on the day with a 2 RBI double, the 0-1. That's inside for a strike. So Daniewicz down 0-2. Two outs, runners on third. Here comes the payoff. That's low for a ball. So Kyle Bender was named an All-American honorable mention at Vaca High School, as well as an All-Region second-team honoree by the perfect game. The 1-2 dude, Daniewicz, takes outside for ball 2.
That's a good take by Daniewicz. That ball, almost caught just enough of the plate, but sailed a little outside.
Count even at 2. Here comes the payoff from Bender. In the dirt for ball 3. Good job by Taylor to get in front of that one. Borjas was creeping at third base. It's a full count for Daniewicz. Takes ball 4, and he's off to first base. As brings up Jacob Galloway. Is 2 for 3 on the day with 2 singles and an RBI. So runners at the corner. Galloway up at the plate. 2 outs for the Oaks as they lead 9-5 here. The bottom of the 7th inning. That's inside for ball. The 1-0. Off goes Daniewicz. That ball is going to get past Taylor. That brings home Borjas for a run. Daniewicz advances to second. And so the Oaks have doubled their lead 10-5.
Well, that's 2 unearned runs allowed by the Barons this inning. That first run on the error that followed the sac bunt by Ethan Gonzalez, and this one, just a wild pitch. Bender kind of just lost his command on that pitch a bit, and it went behind Jacob Galloway, and it's now 10-5 Oaks.
Saw a similar pitch when Johnson was up in this inning. But 2-0. Galloway takes a ball upstairs. So Daniewicz now in scoring position. He was taking off anyway, but he does advance to second base now. The 3-0 to Galloway. Takes a strike down the middle. Count is 3-1, 2 outs. Galloway with already an RBI today. Fouls that off to the left. That's going to get over the left gate here at George Sparky Anderson Field. Torres and Taylor did their best attempt to get over there. Not that they had any chance, unless they made a similar play to the A's outfielder yesterday. Here's the full count. That's low for a ball 4, and Galloway now with his second walk today.
That's a good take by Galloway. That ball, could have presumably caught the corner upon call, but just dropped a little too low, and Oaks have yet another base runner.
And that now brings up Brady Hewitt, who has the solo triple of the game. Hit that opposite field to the right fence. Swings on first pitch and fouls that off, so count is brought to 0-1. Runners on first and second now with 2 outs. Hewitt today is 1 for 3 with that triple. Had a walk in the 6th inning, the 0-1. Hammers that to center field. Backstrom backs up. It's playable. He gets it. And that's the 3rd out for the Barons. As we head to the top of the 8th inning, the Oaks had 2 more, leading 10-5. We'll be right back. And we head into the 8th inning with a pitching change for the Oaks as it's Xander Allen Fox coming in atop the mound. A junior from Grossmont College. First pitch is fouled off by Backstrom. And
Xander Allen Fox making his 2nd pitching appearance of the summer.
The 0-1 to Backstrom. Backstrom shows bump, but takes a ball upstairs. Yeah, well, Allen Fox had actually suffered elbow tendinitis, which kept him out for the season. So, hasn't played. That's above the head of Galloway. That's 2-1. So before his first appearance for the Oaks this summer, he had not played baseball since February 27th of this year. And that time he had 7 appearances, 3 games started, and 5.1 ERA. That's hooked to left field. That's going to be fair. Backstrom going for 2. He gets there in a double to start off the 8th inning.
Yeah, that's great placement by Hunter Backstrom, and with his speed, that's an easy double. But, I mean, just the way it came off the bat, you saw him, just stay inside the baseball, went the other way, landed just right in fair territory. Good call by the third base umpire, and Henry Borjas running as fast as he could to cut it off, but Backstrom into second to start the 8th inning.
So with 0 outs, a runner already on second. That's low for ball 1. And it's Ethan Mertz back to the plate for the Barons. Hits that into center field. Veal gets under it for a second out. And I apologize, that is the newly added Oak, Tommy Dinger, out of Biola from Ventura, California, a senior at Biola. So he replaces Isaac Veal in center field. Off goes Backstrom. The throw is in time. And a great play right there from Galloway. And that'll be a second out of the inning.
Yeah, not a bad try by Hunter Backstrom to try to steal third. I mean, he got a great jump, and obviously he's got great speed, but Jacob Galloway just threw a strike to Tyler Hawley at third and a very quick tag to get him.
And a swing and a miss from Lou John. Yeah, we saw on that double, like you mentioned, Backstrom, he's got the wheels, and you certainly thought with that steal attempt, he thought he could get it. That one's fouled off.
I've seen successful stolen bases at third on throws that beat the runners by more.
So here at the top of the 8th, the Oaks lead 10-5 as the Barons have their work cut out for them. The 1-2. Grounds that to Hewitt. Hewitt going to get the time into Nate Johnson, and that's the third out. So 3 up, 3 down for the Oaks as we head to the bottom of the 8th. We enter the 8th inning here at George Sparky Anderson Field, and we thank you all for joining us here on a beautiful Tuesday night of some baseball. I'm Judo Kanyas, joined along Sammy Fawn, and we enter the 8th inning as the Oaks lead 10-5, and we have a pitching change. That is Jacob Ramirez now on the mound for the Barons. And it's Jonah Dawson at the plate. Takes outside for a ball. And this has probably been the most beautiful day we've had thus far of baseball here at George Sparky Anderson Field.
I think I'm going to have to second that.
Low for ball 2. And it usually gets a little cold up here, but I'm in short sleeves and shorts, and I'm still feeling pretty warm myself. So onside for ball 2. Jake Ramirez has already made one appearance in their 6-5 win against the Bombers. Pitched 2 innings, allowed 1 run, 3 hits, and 4 strikeouts, as well as a walk. Here's the 2-1 to Dawson. Takes a strike on the outside corner. Ramirez is a senior, played at Shorter University. Posted a 6.23 ERA. The payoff. Dawson takes ball. Pitched 47 innings on 64 hits, 36 runs, but had 35 strikeouts. Full count to Dawson. Dawson hits that high into shallow center field. Backstrom gets under it. It's the first out of the inning. Now brings up Tyler Hawley. 0 for 4 on the day. Struck out his last time looking. And so the Oaks and the Barons going to see each other for 2 more times this week. So with a Friday afternoon game here at George Sparky Anderson Field. Holly fouls that off to the right. And then the Oaks will take their first road trip to face the Barons on Saturday. It's been a long homestand for the Oaks. The 0-1 for Holly. Take strike.
Yeah, I got to say, I'm excited myself to travel on the road on Friday and go to MLB Youth Academy. Not sure when the last time I was in Compton, so excited to check out the area.
Holly smacks that to right field. Klinoski gets under it, and that's the second out. 2 up, 2 down for the Oaks here at the bottom of the 8th. Well, I do live near Compton, so it's not a far drive for me at all. But I've never been to the facility, so I'm curious to check that out. Like we mentioned, they do great work for the community since 2018. The 635 MLB Develops Program alumni. They've had 635 alumni, and all of them have gone to play at the college level. 11 alumni of the MLB Youth Academy have reached the majors, including guys like Aaron Hicks, Hunter Greeny, Dylan Tate. It's 2-0 for Johnson. Johnson takes a ball low. 3-0 for Johnson. Had the solo shot in the 5th inning. Takes a strike. So just a little bit of time left for the Barons to try to mount a comeback. But it's Johnson on 3-1. Chops that foul to the right.
Nice play at first by Jose Valle, first base coach for the Conejo Oaks. Henry Borjas waiting on deck.
The full count to Johnson. Takes ball high, and he'll walk the first. So a 2-out walk for Johnson. That brings up Henry Borjas. Fouls that off to the right. Just hits the the ceiling. If that was any lower, that was headed straight into the Barons dugout. And 0-1 for Borjas. Takes outside. The 1-1 to Borjas. Fouls it off to the right, and that's going to be a play made right there by Schmidt to get the third out of the inning, and we head to the top of the ninth as it's down to 3 outs for the Barons. Oaks lead 10-5. And we head to the final inning as the Oaks lead 10-5, and it's the final opportunity here for the Barons to mount any sort of comeback. Back on the mound for the Oaks, Xander Allen Fox came in, retired 2 batters, and then Backstrom. That's grounded to third. Holly gets under it, fires to first, and that's an out, as it's now down to 2 for the Barons. And I know it's been a struggle for Holly offensively, but he has provided great defense on the third base for the Oaks today.
Yeah, his glove is another one of those that's just magnetic. Yeah, the corner infielders really all the infielders, and you see a huge gap up the middle.
And it's Alejandro Torres.
Really surprised how much room they're giving him up the middle.
Fouls that off to the left. Yeah, it's quite the gap. Count even at 1. Torres. 2 for 3 on the day. That's popped up. Johnson gets back to it. Can't make the over-the-head catch. He's had quite a few spectacular catches today. Almost got that one to go. That would have just added to a long list of things he had done today, but
yeah, he made a long run for that, and yeah, he kind of, I think at the last second, the ball kind of twisted around a little bit, kind of got hung up in the wind.
that's upstairs for a ball, so count now even at 2. That's low for a ball 3, so up to a full count. The Barons down to 2 final outs. Here comes the payoff from Fox. That one's fouled high off to the right.
Right in front of the Barons bus.
So here's the payoff. That one slapped into left field. And a diving grab by Boras to get the second out. And what a play by the left fielder. Just diving at that one, and that's 2 down.
Absolutely incredible play from Henry Borjas. He was on that ball right from the get-go, never took his eye off of it, covered a lot of ground, and never gave up on it, and his momentum took him right to the ball and just stuck his glove out, and the ball landed in. How about the defense for the Oaks? It has been fantastic. Yeah, they might have a couple of errors from early on, but their errors have been less costly than that of the Barons.
Just adds to the highlight reel that has been a great defensive display. That one's chopped to first base. Johnson gets under it, touches the bag, and that's going to be the game here. That's George Sparky Anderson Field as the Oaks get their 4th win of the season, defeating the Academy Barons 10-5. And it'll be and the Oaks will face off against the Santa Barbara Foresters tomorrow back here at George Sparky Anderson Field. But as we wrap this game, we bring you back into the booth, and just a great performance once again from the Oaks, and I think highlighted by Nate Johnson, who came in with the 2nd home run of the season for the Oaks, hit that one 324 down the right field fence. Had a pretty complete day. What did you make overall of the Oaks' performance today, Sammy?
The Oaks played baseball today. They came out and they attacked the Barons, starting very early on, scoring 1 run in the 1st inning. The leadoff walk to Isaac Veal, and then the RBI single by Jacob Galloway. And they scored 3 runs in the 2nd. They went the first 5 innings scoring a run, at least 1 run in each of those innings. But yeah, Nate Johnson with that home run, that ball was absolutely annihilated over the right field fence. And, you saw the right fielder, Klinovsky, not even bother to run back to it, just kind of gave it an admiring look. And yeah, the Oaks they came out to play tonight. And I think for the Barons, the real killer point for the Barons was that 7th inning. They allowed those 2 unearned runs because at that point to start the inning, the game was still within reach. They were only chasing 3 runs, but Oaks were lucky enough to get those 2 runs, and they took care of business. And also, to top it all off, Charlie Decker was outstanding today. Went 4 innings, 3 shutout innings, had some obstacles in the 4th inning, allowed a few runs, but he really got it all started, especially on the field for the Oaks. And, the Oaks now 2 wins in a row, 5-1 overall, and
4-1.
Yeah, 4-1 overall. Excuse me, and they'll be ready to come back out here tomorrow for a revenge matchup against the Santa Barbara Foresters. We mentioned before it was a 14-5 loss against them in Saturday's game, so they'll come out ready to play tomorrow.
Well, after that game, the Oaks have now won 2 straight as they head into that Wednesday matchup against the Foresters. And, Sam, you said it perfectly. Charlie Decker had a great game, but then it was also the Daniel Morgan, the Xander Allen Foxes who came in and did a good job at kind of relieving some bases-loaded situations. But overall, they come out with another win, 10-5, and we will see you tomorrow, Wednesday, 4 p.m. here at George Park Anderson Field. I'm Judo Kanyas, joined alongside Sammy Fawn and the rest of our crew here at the Conejo Oaks. We say thank you, and we'll see you tomorrow, and have a good night.